Welcome, everybody. We're going to take a look at Snowflake today. Snowflake is one of the leading Fortune 500 companies in cloud technology. So let's take a look. So first we have our home area, and then we have our search bar. We have our worksheets where you can query stuff using SQL and also Python at times. For instance, we can look at our information schema and it'll show us different stuff like, oh, do we have any backups for our database and things like that. So there's a lot you can query just from the information schema. What I'm using right here is the demo version, so it actually does have a database. So if we go over to a worksheet and query data, we'll see the ability to query the sample data that comes with the free trial of Snowflake, which you can try out. We have a call center, customer data, catalog sales. Let's just click catalog sales. Never clicked that before. So like for instance, you can do select all from, and we'll just double click one of these. So we'll do catalog sales, and we're just going to see what's in there. Typically, you would use the limit by statement, but we're going to see this, and it's going to let us query those tables. This is important because it can connect to applications like Power BI, for instance, using that interface that Power BI offers. So here we can run that. We can see that it's a pretty big table, but Snowflake is able to go through that and really take a look at it. We are using what's called a small warehouse, so maybe if we give it a little bit more power, it would be able to produce here. But we're looking at producing 5.5 million rows very quickly. For those who don't know, Excel has like 1.2 million, 1 million rows. So you can see just the amount of data this thing can take. So maybe we shouldn't have done that. So maybe that was a bad example, but we can take a look, by limiting by 10, for instance, which is an option in Snowflake. Limit by 10, and then we can very quickly see those rows and see that table. We can see it's all that data in that table is there. So if we went over and we can say you can add data, you can pretty much add any data really through ingestion processes using AWS, Microsoft OneLake, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. So a lot you can do here. Snowflake integrations, if you want to try those out. Even a ServiceNow integration now, which is super helpful. You can do DBT projects and now dynamic tables, which is the big thing right now. Create new dynamic under a schema or get privilege rights. These things basically just load data dynamically in and allow you to do some cool things. Here we have this information, such as staging and AI Studio, where you can do different things, Cortex Analyst, and ask questions to it. You can create agents even. So create your own agent. Documents, search, Snowflake Intelligence, and a whole bunch of different things you can do here. You can also go in here and see your query history. So maybe you want to see your query history, and you can go into a marketplace to get some additional stuff or even data things that you may need. So there's some cool things that you can do to get data. But the main thing is it serves as a complete cloud backend to store your data. Very powerful, as you can see. I really recommend that you come back in here and you just try this thing out. There's so much you can do in it. If you just know a little bit of SQL, you're going to be able to do a lot and really try out a lot. That's where the power of this thing comes into place. So for instance, there's some more things we can do down here. You can create worksheets, which we just did before when we queried that data. You can create notebooks, which are Python notebooks, kind of like Jupyter notebooks. You have Streamlit, you can create some dashboards, and you can just create dashboards from your data. So very powerful, as you can see here. Here's a simple dashboard that we had of that call center data, but you can of course modify it and do different stuff and make a real dashboard, for instance. But this is just one that it came up with. It shows some different things. Now, one of the things I do like most about Snowflake is you can chart stuff very quickly, see and figure things out. This would not be as easy in other platforms. So like if I want to see something in a chart very quickly, I can then choose, for instance, a different metric and a dimension, and that's going to help us figure stuff out. So charting stuff by year right now, but you don't necessarily have to do that. You can choose your series, your line. Do you want it to be a line or anything else? You can go by month and really break things down very quickly. And it's a really good way to look at your data. So Snowflake does allow you to do that, and I think it's super powerful. So if we go back to our worksheets on our home tab and just click our recent worksheet, we were in the dashboard, remember. Let's go back to that one. I want to click here so you can see different data points. How much is null? Like, what are the ones that are causing null values very quickly? Why is it filled up? This is similar to what you'd see in Power BI or in a data thing or Tableau Prep, for instance. But these very powerful things let you know what's going on with those tables at a full level very quickly using that metadata. And this is where the power of Snowflake comes into play, because you can see how quickly it ran. So it already had that information. So if we did maybe 1,000, it won't run as fast. So we'll do that real quick. And you hit Control Enter to run that. And then it'll run that. So there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts. And there's even functionalities within here. Maybe you want to do top 100. It really brings in all these different things that are in different SQLs in different languages. I am not as familiar with top 100. Haven't used it. I usually just limit 100. But if you want to use that, you can. But everything's in here.
Dad!